course while we scan for contraband. And we're done. Enjoy Gagarin.
Welcome to Gagarin. Your ship need fuel? Repairs?
Mech construction is a dead industry, Chief Pretorius. Those jobs aren't coming back. But Reliant Medical, Archmite, and Satori Mills are dedicated to Gagarin. We were just hoping Gagarin could show the same dedication in return.
I'm not closing off the city every time you want to run a tour group through here.
Our investor visits are the key to making Gagarin a place that works again. A place where people want to live again.
People are living here just fine. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have security work to get back to. Tell me you're here to just report a good old-fashioned crime? If I have to deal with one more corporate exec begging for special treatment, I'll eat my badge. Oh, you haven't heard? Gagarin's going to be the next New Atlantis, or so we've all been told. Centauri Mills, Archmite, Reliant Medical, they all bought up and renovated derelict buildings here in the city in the past couple years. We needed the jobs, to be sure. Gagarin got hit hard after the mech plants were all shuttered when the Colony War ended. But I'm not sure I've ever met a more entitled group than these executives. Treat the city like an amusement park, and all of us as the amusements. It's kept me and my people plenty busy, just not with actual policing. But I'm sorry. Did you actually need to report something? You know, your stand-up routine leaves something to be desired. Though if you're gunning for a personalized tour of one of Gagarin's holding cells, that can certainly be arranged. But I think we might have gotten off on the wrong foot. I'm Delitzo Pretorius, UC Security Chief. It's our job to deal with any law breaking around Gagarin, and we take that job very seriously. Now, was there something I can help you with? We've had our issues. Some folks aren't thrilled about the corporations moving in, but the majority don't act on it. Those that do largely keep it civil. Protest, throw some paint, occasional crate wanders off. But we've managed to avoid any open conflict so far. It's really not a bad assignment. Well, I came here right after training, which was 10 years ago now. Gagarin was a lot rougher then. People were still reeling from all the plants getting shut down after the war. So there was a lot of petty theft, break-ins. I was responsible for putting together a pretty busy community outreach program. Worked out well enough that they eventually made me chief. Gagarin's not really that sort of burg. Most of the restaurants went belly up when the mech trade shut down. Only one left is Lizzie's, on the other side of town, though it does have a nice view of the square. There's also a little social club the local executive set up across from Lizzie's, but it's still pretty light on amenities. Now, if you're just looking to resupply, then you'll want Clint's. Another case of last business standing, but he's got a good selection. And for medical supplies, you'll want Dr. Keala. You can find both of them on the main concourse. Beyond that, we're just corporate offices and private homes. Should get back to it anyway.
The best cereal is Chocolate Labs. Ships of the line are okay too.
Salutations. Please ask the supervisor if you need something.
I'm sorry, but if this isn't directly related to Reliant medical business, you should really schedule an appointment. Who knows? Drink themselves to death? I honestly haven't the slightest. I'm usually too busy trying to make something of this city. But if you aren't the seize the day type, you can wander over to Lizzie's. I haven't heard about any waves of blindness striking the city's residents, so the drinks can't be that bad. What's that like? Challenging. I work for Helena Strickland, one of the most driven executives in the industry. I tied him really, though she seems to forget it's not just her that's responsible for Reliant's successes around here. Though we've been having some courier troubles recently. I think there could be some credits in it if you're interested. Speak to Helena. Gagarin is a city on the rise. Cheap facilities, an enthusiastic labor market. Archmite and Satari Mills are just learning what Reliant's known for years. Gagarin is the place to do business. I better get back to it.
You're not the usual courier. Please tell me you're his replacement, and that you're just here to pay me a long overdue visit on his behalf. What am I talking about? I'm talking about someone, anyone, handing over my exceedingly late delivery. Now, are you my courier's replacement or not? Are you now? Look. I'm expecting a very important package. Very important. What would you say to tracking it down for me? Quickly. I pay, and I pay well. Good. Let's get you on your way then. Akachi Rosenblum, United Transport, Gagarin branch. Now, please. Akachi, it's Helena, over at Reliant Medical. Your courier never showed. I need his stops for the day. This is my I don't care voice, Akachi. Oh. And what's your firm's policy on losing our branch as a client? I thought so. Send it to my personal slate. Thank you, Akachi. Here. all the places our courier might have gotten waylaid. She mentioned a panel or something that you can plug his ID number into at each delivery point. They should tell you if he's been there recently. The ID's 8148. When you do finally track him down, you can tell him you'll be completing delivery. Now go get me my package. Please.
The Terrabrew kiosk still busted? I swear, last time that thing worked, there were still humans on Earth.
Courier 8148 detected. Error. You have already checked in at this drop-off location. Please resume standard route.
Gagarin's not an easy place to live. Nice to find them. Most of these corporate clowns won't even show their face at business. Not that she's
Error.
anyway.
You have already checked in at this location. Please resume route.
You know who's really to blame for Gagarin's problems? The Freestar.
Check-in accepted. You are late, courier. Please complete delivery and proceed along your route.
Sure, the catwalk's all right. I don't want to have to fish anyone else out of the canyon.
Check-in accepted. Please continue along your route, courier.
Smells like this important. Those
Back at last. Did you find the courier? And more importantly, my package? My God. Dead? Well, I suppose that explains why my employee, Mr. Maximoff, disappeared so suddenly. And why the tracking beacon I installed on his ship was detected fleeing the planet. Here, your payment for finding the courier. It seems you've got some chops when it comes to investigation. What would you say to finding Mr. Maximoff for me? Seeing what he knows about where our data might have wandered off to. Mr. Maximoff was, and may still be, one of Reliant's most ambitious young executives. His business is Reliant's business. If he was to do something rash, like run off with Reliant's confidential and proprietary data, then it's our responsibility to know that. Hence the tracker. And why I'd appreciate your help in confirming if that's the case or not. Oh, I'll be informing UC Security, but speedy results don't appear to be their forte. I need Mr. Maximoff tracked down and my package recovered, and I need it now. Can I count on you to handle that? Excellent. Mr. Maximoff, Bonifant, appears to have set down on another world here in Alpha Centauri, Hawley. Go there and see what he may know on the subject of our fallen courier and our missing data.
Have a nice day.
Welcome to Clint's. Whatever you need, I'm sure I've got it lying around somewhere. Except mech parts. Don't trade those anymore, so don't waste your time asking. Well, for one, it's illegal in UC space. Making mech platforms used to be Gagarin's bread and butter. So, since they were banned in the armistice, I get 1 to 2 folks a month asking what kind of relics I might have lying around. But I'm not about to risk a contraband fine at my age, so that's why I just lay it out up front. If you need anything, just follow the sound of falling inventory. You'll find me eventually. Gagarin. It was a military town until the end of the Colony War. Mechs were our specialty. Everyone always blabbers about Mars making the highest performance machines. But if you needed a system that wouldn't let you down in a pinch, you piloted a Gagarin. But that all dried up when the mechs were banned with the armistice. Now, you've got these new firms coming in. Arkmite, Centauri Mills. Claim they're here to revitalize the city. Which is funny, since their employees refuse to step foot in most of it. Plenty more competition for stores like mine, that's for sure. UC had a lot more money to throw around in those days. During the war, I couldn't keep the shelves stocked. At first, because of all the demand. But later, because the Freestar collective flotillas were so damn good at picking off UC merchant craft. But the biggest difference now? The quiet. Not just because most of the forges and mines shut down. It was the testing. Firms used to drive their prototype mechs out into the canyons, way beyond the city. But you could still hear the guns all the way from here. It was like, shoo, thunder. So when the thunder stopped, well, so did Gagarin in a way. Hard to not be nostalgic for a time when the city was in a better place. Though, knowing what we do now, with the costs of the war and all, probably better for everyone that Gagarin's moved on. Let me just bring that up.
Security's usually good about keeping it straight. Got your eyes open at night for dust devils. I remember watching shiny new mechs roll over ships.
If you have questions, please approach a designated United Transport spokesperson.
Any shift you don't drop a crate on your foot is a win in my book.
Don't get in the way of the robots. I'm not responsible if they step on your toes. Sorry, I don't mean to be rude, but I've got a lot of shipments to process still, so let's cut to the chase. Are you here to claim a shipment in storage, or do you have some other shipping concern? Did one of my robots wander off again? Was it something else entirely? What do you expect? Robots never get tired. They don't need breaks. They can carry heavy loads. They're faster and more efficient in every way for this kind of work. And if I'm being honest, I prefer their company. When you've spent most of your life in space away from people, you learn to trust technology more than humanity. Well, it's owned by Unified Transport. We employ a mostly robotic staff. Fewer mistakes that way. We do short-term storage, long-term. I guess that's pretty much it. It's a warehouse. We do shipping. Enough said. You'd be surprised. Gagarin's had a bit of a resurgence lately as an industrial hub. It seems like every week we're storing and shipping more and more cargo. That reminds me, if this keeps up, we're going to need more robots. All right, bye.
Chronicles of the Mech Riders. It's a good title. You read it, right? Oh, and that's just the beginning. Action, adventure, heartbreak, humanity at its absolute most raw. Ever since I left the military, I've been thinking about writing chronicles. Interviewing other mech pilots about what it was like to experience the war strapped in, and what it's been like for us ex-pilots since mechs were banned. Deployed from 2309 till the fleet got themselves blown to bits 2 years later, and the UC waved the white flag. I was at the Battle of Mars when the Freestars dropped in to try and blow our industrial output to smithereens. If you've ever visited Sidonia and noticed it's still in one piece, that's my unit's work. Well, in the bold future where the book's done and I don't have to track packages for a living anymore, I'll happily sign your copy. Now, what can I do for you? When folks lose a limb, some get ghost sensations, feel like the limb's still there. Well, imagine that across your whole body. When you're strapped in long enough, you and your machine, you grow to understand each other. What the machine can take and keep going, and what the human can. We'd even sleep in our mechs so we could deploy faster. And since they were a hell of a lot more comfortable than the cots the UC issued, you spent your life cradled in the arms of a war machine. That's what it's like to pilot a mech, and that's what I want to write about. The armistice that ended the Colony War put plenty of new laws into place, but the two big ones were no more xeno-weapons and no more mechs. You'll get into trouble for even having mech components on your ship on more settled worlds. So those of us that made our living piloting them were left without a purpose. Which is how I went from driving a 1500 horsepower battle frame to working in a shipping warehouse. Sailing across the settled systems, hunting down all these other pilots, it's not going to be cheap. That's why I'm living in scenic Gagarin and not, say, downtown New Atlantis. Every spare credit goes right into the book fund. Of course, I don't exactly mind living in the same town where my mech was built either. But once I've got enough, I'm gone. Roger that.
I've been trying to get a transfer to New Atlantis. Pay's better, climate's better, but I don't think
I'm Dr. Keala. Are you a new patient? If you're a UC citizen, I can look you up, get your benefits processed once we've done a workup. Oh, well, the UC subsidizes the costs of all services for its citizens, healthcare and beyond. Hard part is, you've got to earn your citizenship first, doing some job for the UC for X number of years. I got mine serving as a doctor in an at-need area, as they lovingly refer to Gagarin. Other folks, they've done it through scientific service, diplomatic posts. Heck, you could even go over and talk to Zenaida about joining the Vanguard. They'll get you your citizenship in no time flat. Or so says Zenaida. Oh, well, hello right back at you. If you're ever in need of medical services, you just let me know. I like helping people. I grew up around here, so I already knew basically all of my patients from day one. My parents both worked the mines, and I saw how hard that can be on the body. Made me want to help folks around here. Take care.
You another investor on a tour or something?
Apparently, the corporate execs are talking about building their own priority catwalks above the city. Been up there? Good luck.
You get the assessment back on your really shouldn't be in here.
I did.
Hygiene standards and
It's
all.
worth double what it was when I moved in.
So, are you going to buy it?
Only if I take up a life of piracy. I wonder if there are any mining jobs on Mars these days.
You know, I've been so busy, I still haven't gotten outside the city limits. Though, it doesn't sound like I'm missing much.
I was thinking about going for a hike outside the canyon. Where we are. And drink instead.
All these fancy new businesses going up, and we still...
What? Look like the welcoming committee or something? Then get out of my face.
You've been to Clint's recently? You get crushed under all that crap?
I'm not supposed to run on the walkways anymore.
If you have any problems, you should talk to Chief Pretorius. She'll help you out.
Finally starting to cool off.
Our last head of security was a real hard-ass. Now, Chief Pretorius chews you out. You probably earned it.
Sometimes I hide outside the door. Buzz off, all right?
Looking for a drink? Don't serve anything fancy, so if you're about to ask for wine spritz or whatever, you can hop right back on your ship to New Atlantis. Not as a rule, no. Just the ones that come to Gagarin and want to change it. And those folks usually ask for disgusting, overly complicated drinks. You one of them? Well, then make yourself comfortable. And don't start anything, all right? Sure do. I came into some money right around the time the war ended. Places were selling for nothing. Every person with credits was flying to New Atlantis. I got this place for a wink and a nod. Have been slinging drinks the way I like 'em ever since. Bunch of corporate marionettes moving in, setting up shop. They think we're just a bunch of cheap factories and dumb labor that'll leap at whatever scraps they toss us. but Gagarins are tough by default. We've got exactly zero need of corporate condescension. Lucky you. I've got a little project I could use some help with. You've seen all the neckties and power suits wandering around town? Feels like they're everywhere. And while I like a bunch of stuck-up new Atlantean MBAs defiling my city as much as I enjoy unmedicated dental surgery, they've got the credits. So sooner or later, I'm going to need to start serving them, or someone else will. Okay. I got a tip where I might acquire some luxury beverages. On the cheap. There's this ship whose crew had to ditch mid-flight. I presume it's some kind of luxury liner because it's supposedly got an impressive collection of booze on it. I want you to go to the ship, find the best stuff on board, and bring it to me. Anything else on the ship is yours to keep. Plus, I'll throw in some credits for your trouble. My contact's reliable. More than that, not your job to know. My rumor was light on details. Got to be some kind of lesser luxury craft, a pleasure yacht or the like. Not going to find the sort of beverages I'm after on anything else. Exactly what I was hoping to hear. You'll find the ship doing laps around Grissom. And be careful. I'm not paying for broken bottles, okay?
If you're here to collect your copy of my book, you're just a little early.
Why is no one talking about bringing back mechs? The city was fine before Freestar banned them.
That's Zaneta, up at the Vanguard office. She's pretty good. Nearly convinced me to hand out recruitment materials.
I know a guy who's just got a job at the Centauri Mills plant. Won't say what they pay, but his outfits sure have gotten nicer.
I don't miss all the extra heat from the old forges, that's for sure.
Some of the other executives and I have been looking to form a town council. Ensure everyone's voices are heard in city matters. The locals would be invited, of course.
You're not unlike... My time is Arkmite's time, and Arkmite's time is very valuable. What gave it away? I was born in New Atlantis, but the business environment is so stuffy there. Centuries-old firms set in their ways. Gagarin is gritty, exciting, an opportunity for growth. And isn't that what business and life are all about? Oh, Chief Pretorius? She thinks Gagarin is just peachy being poor and run down. Has no vision. But Arkmite does. Thanks to our investment, the largest formerly shuttered mech plant in the city has been refurbished and is churning out some of the finest heavy equipment in the settled systems. And we're sharing that vision of the revived Gagarin with others. We've been bringing in investors, showing them all the potential of this place. We were only asking the chief to make sure the areas we'd planned to visit didn't have any malcontents running around. Unfortunately,